Guess who's back? Back again. Flan-Again. With a friend.
With a friend!
Who is this young man?
That is my baby brother, Joel. That is Slade Wright.
Yay! Welcome to the show, Slade.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. This is gonna be a blast.
I'm so excited.
It's my favorite season of television ever made, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay. Midnight Mass, which was the first thing from Mike Flanagan that Ashley and I talked about together, is very high on my list. And Ashley, I think you and Brett were both had a similar feeling about
we love
Fall of the House of Usher because you're both big Poe fans.
Yeah, Hill House though is my pinnacle Mike Flanagan experience. It was I think it's maybe the first thing I saw of his really that I knew who he was or like cared. Yeah, this series is got a big place in my heart.
Yeah.
I know deep horror fans.
How scared are you, Joel? How scared are you? Because Joel Slade, I don't know if you know this, Slade, Joel does not like scary things, which is odd that we have a whole series about fucking vampires.
Joel. So my partner, Hannah, who I don't know if you met Hannah when we were in New Orleans or not.
You did.
Briefly, yes.
You did,
yes.
yeah. They're coming again, aren't you?
Hannah hates scary things.
Uh-huh.
She has terrible nightmares.
Yeah.
Terrible nightmares. Even when she doesn't watch scary stuff, she has nightmares, but they make it worse for sure. But she knew how important Hill House was to me, so she watched it with me.
Sweet.
And I warned her most of the time. I was like, "Hey, there's something really creepy coming up. Just be careful." Like
he missed he missed the biggest jump scare in the entire series, though.
I did.
And I
forgot
thought she
all
wasn't
about it
going to speak to him.
I was so wrapped up in that scene, and I completely forgot about it. And when it happened, and I was like, reached over. I was like, "I'm so sorry." She's like, "Do not touch me right now."
Welcome to Flan-Again, a Mike Flanagan rewatch, brought to you by the Articulate Coven. For more information on the original Anne Rice fan podcast and community, visit articulatecoven.com and find more about this show at articulatecoven.com/Flan-Again. I am such a fraidy cat. That is my first note. I am a fraidy cat, fraidy cat, fraidy cat, fraidy cat. And this, I've forgotten, y'all.
This is scary.
I knew this was scarier than Midnight Mass. I did remember that. I knew that I seem to remember that it was scarier than I found Fall of the House of Usher.
It is. Oh, it definitely is scarier than Usher.
I had forgotten how scary it was, though, y'all. And not just scary, but okay. Silence of the Lambs is not, I don't think, a very scary film. It's not that scary a film. However, the tension levels, right?
Yes.
The feeling that you're going to be scared at any moment is incredibly high for that film. You feel nervous the whole 2 hours. This show does nervous the whole time, but also has great jump scares too. And we're supposed to be crying about our past and how our parents fucked us up the whole time.
Yeah.
It's unfair.
And then add the extra layer that in the background, there's all kinds of weird, creepy shit happening. So you actually also, if you pay attention to the background, can get twice as scared as you were before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot, guys. It's a lot. Okay, before we get into this proper, let's set the stage in case you have stumbled upon this and are like, who are all of these people? We are the Articulate Coven. Ashley and I have been doing for nearly a decade now podcasts about Anne Rice and her works. We did a little spin-off of our show a couple of years back called Flan-Again because it turns out, hey, oh, look at that. One of our other favorite things is Mike Flanagan and all the shit that he does. We were madly in love with it. So we've done a few of those and we're finally getting some time to revisit. It's going to be a very busy fall. We're going to cover every episode of The Haunting of Hill House.
Yes.
Then we're going to be talking about Carrie after that. Maybe we're going to fit in a few movie projects after that.
Yeah.
And then probably we'll have to go back over to Articulate Coven for a while and do Mayfair in early 2027. We shall see what the release date for that is. Couple of things. Ashley's already mentioned New Orleans. Articulate Coven is hosting convergence events the next couple of Halloweens. We were together last year. We're going to be this year at 7-3 Distilling Company. There are, as we record, a handful of tickets left for that one. In 2027, however, we're going to be in a much bigger theater, the new Marigny Theater, and tickets are available for that as well at articulatecoven.com/events, as well as our 10th anniversary event happening in March in Indiana.
What are we doing?
All of those things, go to articulatecoven.com/events to get more info, and the links will be in the show notes. Okay, Slade, before we get started in earnest about this show, tell folks a little bit about you. Ashley and I talk a lot, and you do not have to talk as much about your personal life as we have over the last 10 years, I promise.
You might know a little bit about Slade from my previous conversation.
That's true. My brother has probably been mentioned a handful of times. Yes.
Yeah, a handful of
times. People searching transcripts.
I'm the only one. The only brother.
The only brother I've got.
I'm a writer, author. I do a lot of editing and just various other things with the written word, and currently helping out some political activists that are doing a 1,000-mile march across the South for voting rights and to register voters. So I joined them. It's 1,000 miles to Memphis. I joined them about a week ago now in Birmingham, Alabama, and they had gone from Nashville to Atlanta to Birmingham at that point. And so I'm joining for the second half of the journey, and yeah, we're just going to keep on doing things like that. Feel free to follow me wherever you like, and it should be fun. It's been a interesting journey to get here. I've done a lot. I was a research scientist for a little while, and I was a restaurant manager for a long time, and various other weird jobs here and there that would probably surprise people. And
you went to Antarctica to do scientific research.
I did
after my wedding.
Did do research in Antarctica for 2 months, and then just having some fun and getting to write about everything is the dream of my life is to write, and so I'm finally getting to do that full time, which is awesome.
That's so awesome, and congratulations, and thank you for your work on this particular tour that you're on right now. I think that's a great effort, and genuinely, the sneaker ball in Baton Rouge just happened for the Louisiana Democrats, and Vice President Harris came and spoke, and one of the clips that's gone kind of viral was she was talking about how Louisiana is the breeding ground for this stuff, but they farm it out then all over the country. And that is true not only for our state, it's true for Mississippi, it's true for Alabama, it's true for Georgia, it's true for South Carolina and North Carolina and Virginia. These states are under attack, but what they are doing in those states will come to you in whatever little blue haven you happen to be in if you allow it to happen. So if you can support these efforts in whatever way you can, even if it's just by following and sharing posts from groups like Slade's, absolutely go and do that. Okay. When Ashley suggested having you on for this, I thought, fuck yes, that's perfect. Because there's nothing we've done so far that is more directly about families.
Oh, and specifically siblings. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons. Slade and I are very close. And I think that's one of the reasons why this and we're very close with our older sister too. I think that's one of the reasons why this show hits so hard for us, is that that sibling dynamic and then kind of a troubled past and a complicated family, and what that looks like and what that feels like to experience. To see it kind of done in this way was very interesting to me.
Yeah, this show for me is I watch it about once a year, and
I probably do at least once too. Yeah,
it's a cathartic experience for me every time. It's a healing thing. I usually am like, all right, I've been down for like a week. Let me just do a rewatch of Hill House and see if I can get on the other side of this, But it is though. Granted, there's a lot of trauma that gets there, but there is a beautiful catharsis to the end of this that is kind of unexpected the first time you watch it. You're like, I did not expect to feel things in this horror show, but you do, and he rips it out of you, and that's why Flanagan's the best. It's I love his work so much, and this is, like you said, this is probably his most earnest, other than Life of Chuck. Life of Chuck's probably a little bit more earnest than this, but
okay. Am I wrong in that he was still finalizing his final throes of alcoholism when he was doing, right? He was still an active alcoholic when he was making this, I believe.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, either that or his sobriety was very new.
Maybe he was had just gotten his 1 year chip or something. Yes.
Well,
he was still wrestling demons to the ground at this point, is my
yeah.
purpose there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes through.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
He handles really heavy topics with so much nuance that it is just you can't look at, who's the twin brother? What's his name right now? Luke. You can't look at Luke and just be you can't look at Luke without empathy, because all of these siblings love him so much. And it's such a true reflection of when someone in your family is struggling with addiction, because there is a lot of anger, and there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of worry, and there's a lot of care, and there's a lot of hope. And the fact that he's able to fucking show that is absolutely crazy, and actually cares to and takes the time to, and to give the other characters that kind of agency where they're able to truly express how they feel about everything that's going on. It's just, I am so grateful for that kind of expression, and to see it, and to have kind of my own feelings and my own experiences validated.
Where did the two of you stand with this novel, the original novel that this is adapted from? Have either of you read it before?
Love it.
Yes.
Read it multiple times. There are sections of it that are some of the scariest thing I've ever read in my life. Like the section where it's Nell and or it's I think in the book it's Nell and Theo are in the room, and there's all the knocking happening, is one of the most terrifying things I've ever read in my life. It just scared me to my core.
Yeah. This is a really interesting adaptation of that story too.
Yeah.
Because it modernizes it in a way, and not in a way, it 100% modernizes it, but it also still has some exact scenes from it as well, which is very, very cool. That I love the novel. I haven't read it in a while. I should actually revisit, but she was an incredible writer. Writing horror is not easy.
I mean,
and she does it really well.
I'll literally never forget the first time I read The Lottery. I mean, it's seared into my brain as a huge fucking experience in my life. And I think that was in 8th grade English.
I think mine was either 7th or 8th grade English as well, Ashley. And I'm sitting right here when I just finally put it together. Yeah, of course, that's Shirley Jackson too.
Yeah,
I had forgotten that was the same author, honestly. Okay, I've still never read this original book. However, I'd watched the 90s version, The Haunting, right, a dozen times by the time I had seen this. But because I love that 90s version so much, I'd gone back and seen the Vincent Price version.
Yes.
I don't know, several times.
And it's very good too.
Neither one of those, they're both very good movies in their own right, but neither one of them basically have anything to do with this story almost. So little connection to this story. And you guys are telling me, while it's modernized, like our Interview with the Vampire adaptation, for instance, it is still lots of pieces straight out of the page. The opening line, for instance, silence lay steadily against the wood and stone of Hill House, and whatever walked there walked alone. What the okay. Yeah, you could string a sentence together, can't you, man?
Yeah.
Shirley Jackson, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
News alert, everybody. Shirley Jackson, decent horror author, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
You heard it here first, kids. You heard it here first.
I don't know. I think this Shirley Jackson's going places. Mike Flanagan, not just a flash in the pan. Okay. Genuinely though, the cast and crew that Flanagan is able to continue to put together on all of these projects is just outstanding. Like just from go, Daddy Crane is Mr. E.T. himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's so earnest as an actor. It was one of my favorite things about his role in Midnight Mass is how believable and lovable
He's
that
so good at
character
Midnight
is,
Mass.
no matter the journey that he goes on there. But like, okay, even at the end of this episode, we get the reveal that Dad has run out of the house and taken all the children away, and we don't know any of the details really at this point. But I believe in him so much that I'm with him on that. I don't ever question him in that scene, really.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's all the actor.
Yeah, I think that's this first episode does such a great job of setting up so many things that are going to be so fucking important later, and setting up the dread and the fear and the concern of everything.
It does it in a way too that still like pulls you into the story, right? So it's not it's not your typical table setting, it's like, oh, this is all set up for this. It's like, this is part of its own thing. And he does this in such a clever way by like reframing scenes, right? So a scene that you see in this episode, you'll see again in the third or fourth episode from a completely different perspective. One of my favorite examples of it is something we'll cover later, but it's all these moments I started highlighting them because I was like, oh yeah, that comes up again in a huge way. And it's not just like a foreshadowing thing. It's not just like laying breadcrumbs. It's literally the same scene again with a different context around it, sometimes from a completely different perspective, different character, but it recontextualizes everything. And it's such an elegant way to do the table setting and to be like, this stuff matters. This stuff will matter later. It matters right now, and it will matter later because it matters to this character in this way. And it'll matter to this character in a much different way in a few episodes.
Yeah. It is and to get that like different perspective from different members of a family who are dealing with the same situation is just very there's someone could see themselves in any one of these characters and probably sees parts of themselves in several of them,
Yes, that's it. You see parts of yourselves in several of them. Okay, we mentioned Daddy. We got to mention Mama here too. Mama Cardellini.
Carla Gugino.
I said Cardellini. Yeah, Linda Cardellini is.
Linda Cardellini is also a treat. Carla Gugino.
She's amazing. But yeah, Carla Gugino, and I have already gushed about her no, I didn't get to gush about her because it was during Fall of the House of Usher. I just had to hope that you all did it for me.
We gushed
y'all did
real
enough.
hard.
Y'all did enough. This woman, though, I mean, she gets
gem.
More beautiful. She's like I don't know. It's like a white Angela Bassett, I guess. I don't know the way that she ages, like fucking fine wine, right? Like, God bless it. She's just outstanding. And she's so good in this, too.
She has a painting of herself aging in her attic right
now. 100%. 100%.
It's unbelievable.
That's it.
No, but what really struck me in this episode is like she's not in this episode very much at all. She's just at the end for the Shakespeare moment when she walks in. Mrs. Dudley's talking to Stephen, and she just goes on this monologue that is just beautiful. And I'm just like, I'm fully in. Whatever she tells me, that's it. Like, I believe her. She's fully in one scene, and it is powerful.
Well, I think that's because like you said, you're all in there, and we're all in on the dad too. We know when he leaves, like there's something fucked up that's happening. He's leaving because there's something very wrong. But the first thing in my mind is not to accuse him of something like I would if this was like a Dateline episode. You know what I mean?
Well, also you see him with her in a very sweet scene of them in bed, and it's very brief, but there's no animosity. There's nothing to even indicate tension there. Well, and so when he's leaving her at the house later on in the car, you're just like, something went down.
Fuck went down.
Something went down.
Okay. Stephen Crane, the writer. Stephen's the first one of the kids that we meet in the modern day. First of all, I think Stephen King in particular gets a lot of shit for all of his stories, including a writer. But when your horror is metaphorical, when your horror is about how horror is a lens through which we can view our own negative experiences and process, et cetera, et cetera. And basically every story you tell is that, it's very convenient to put a writer in the center of it so that it reminds the dummies in the audience, hey, we're telling stories over here.
Yeah.
You like stories? Let's listen to some stories. He's a good one though. And I also love the fact that he's like a total non-believer from moment one. He's like, I've never seen a ghost, actually.
He's so sure of himself, right? He's so
sure. He's so sure that everyone else around him is fucking crazy too.
So sure of himself that he doesn't have to be dismissive at all to this woman. He's very kind when she's relaying her story, and the way that he says, this is nonsense. And there's all an explanation for all of it. But he's not hurt. He's so certain that he's right. He doesn't have to make an argument or debate with her.
No.
He's just going to leave you with the truth and ruin your whole fucking point of view, ma'am, actually.
That monologue of hers, and when she's telling what she's experienced, what she's seen, is so beautifully acted. Like, I just love when she says, I couldn't scream. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't scream. And then she talks about him opening his mouth. And then she says, and then I screamed. Like, it's like, oh, it's so well paced. It's so well delivered. I mean, Flanagan is quite known for his characters monologuing, and there's quite a bit of it in Hill House. And this is one that I think gets really overlooked because this character is just in this one part of this one episode. But she brings so much to the story because it allows us to get a real perspective on how Stephen views his past and his past experiences.
Nell is the next one that we meet, and Nell is still very scared, just as we found her in her childhood earlier. When we first get our glimpse of the bent or a discussion at least of the bent neck lady. Okay.
That seems lovely. You get a scope of like good brother Stephen. Stephen's such a good big brother.
Yeah.
He walks in that room. I quibble with this a little bit when he's like, Luke, why are you awake? She just screamed so loud that it woke you up in another room.
Yeah.
That might be why, Steve. I get his response is very sweet and it's very telling of their relationship. I'm awake because Nellie's awake. But also, she did just scream really loud.
Like Theo even got up too. And that's the other thing. I think that this like little opening section like shows you how much care all of this family has for each other. They all really love each other very much. Like Theo was getting up to check and see what was going on. And Steve sent her back to bed and was like, I got it under control, you know?
And again, what a juxtaposition with the family from Fall of House of Usher.
Oh, Christ.
Right? Not a single one of them even likes the other ones, basically.
No.
Even the, what do they call them? The bastards or whatever? Yeah. Even the illegitimate children, they like vaguely will allow each other to be in the same room. But this family, even as adults, even when they have built up boundaries for certain members of the siblings to protect themselves and each other, etc. Even then, there is genuine concern and care from all of them for all of the rest of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes being in the foxhole will do that for you, though, won't it?
I mean, will it not, Slade?
True.
As fellow members of the same foxhole, it will trauma bond you.
Now's the time when you both lay down on the couch and we'll begin the session. I'll go ahead and start billing.
Excellent.
That's right. Okay. We get our Shirley. We meet Shirley next. Shirley's a funeral director. Of course she is. Of course Shirley's a funeral director.
I struggle with adult Shirley because she looks like one of my exes. in such a distinct way. I don't even think it's like her face. I think it's how she carries herself or something. There's just something about it that reminds me of an ex-girlfriend in a way that I'm just like, Shirley, I should not be attracted to you, but I am kind of thing. And adult, but I adore the character over time. Like every watch for me is a little bit different.
Yeah,
And
same.
there are some watches that I've watched where I've been like fully on Team Shirley. Like I'm fully in. And some watches where I'm on other sides of the aisle there. But Shirley's a really, really interesting character because she's kind of holding it together. She feels like she is at any way, right?
It's interesting that you said the way that she carries herself, because I was going to say her posture. Genuinely, her posture shows you so clearly the fact that Shirley carries the entire weight of the world, right? And has resigned to that job. She is Atlas, knowing this is eternity. I'm not waiting for my shift to end. None of the rest of this family is going to figure their shit out.
No one's going to
No
buck
one will
up.
run this. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm the one that has to keep the fucking trains on the tracks.
It should be Steven, but he's not going to do it.
It should be fucking Steven, but he can't do it. So now it's me. I don't know if that sounds like, the tone of my voice might sound that maybe I felt that way in my life before.
Okay, I was so shocked when Mr. Dudley shows up for the first time. And again, I've seen this, but it's just been a long time. And that actor, again, is so amazing in Midnight Mass in particular. And the role here is quite different from Go. But I was just like, oh my God, I forget he does repertory like this, just keeping this group of actors.
Yeah.
I don't know. It really is a magical. I know mostly he does it because I like these people, and why would I bring people that I don't like onto set with me when I have all these incredibly talented people that I like? But still, I don't know. There's some sort of magic about doing it like a theater troupe.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
There is.
Yeah.
And there's a group mind you get, from working together. We have it with improv, and I had it when Brett and I were working for the Children's Theater here in Little Rock. We worked with the same people for 7 years pretty much. And we were able to do some really cool shit because of that, because there's so much trust built in, and you're not having to you're not having to meet a new person every, 6 weeks to start a new production. It's all the same people you're used to working with. And it just takes out so much of the shorthand that you have to have. It takes out so much of the is the vibe going to be right on set? These people feel safe with each other, and they're exploring some really complicated, deep issues. And to be able to be emotionally ragged and vulnerable like that is a lot easier when you completely trust the people you're around. It's also a sign of not having a fucked up work environment too, that people want to work there again.
And he knows they can handle his material, like his writing is probably not the easiest thing in the world to get cadence down on and all that stuff. And he knows these people can do that. And that's a huge factor as well. I'm sure it's like, I know, this guy can come in and do that monologue that I wrote,
right,
and I don't have to worry about whether or not that's going to happen. Fun thing about Mr. Dudley. So my partner Hannah worked on film sets, and she's worked with him before, and said that he's just the nicest dude, just purely nice, just really, really cool. So if anyone's worried about how he is in real life, apparently
Robert
very
Longstreet is a peach.
Yes, she still has his number, and she'll text him every now and then. It's very funny.
Oh my God!
Look, you were
6 degrees of separation, Joel.
You're right.
Look how close we all are to Mike Flanagan.
Yeah. Okay. So people have messaged us pretty frequently lately, Ashley, to ask if we haven't seen. Mike Flanagan was asked specifically about the Vampire Lestat and had he watched it and did he like it? And he raved about Jacob and Sam and the show and everybody behind it, blah, blah, blah. First of all, we knew he was a fan already because he raved about an interview with the vampire already previously. He then went and hired Delaney Hales for Carrie, among other things. Right here, there's this great scene. Steve says, I prefer preternatural. As he corrects this woman, it's not a supernatural phenomenon. It's preternatural. It's just parts of the world that we haven't explained yet. Okay. Mike Flanagan been about that Anne Rice work. Y'all don't have to worry.
He been reading them books.
He knew. He been reading them books. He knows.
I've literally giggled every time that line has come up, every single time I've watched it. Because of Anne's
such a good line.
Profuse use of preternatural.
Okay. Y'all, I was not prepared for Theo's opening scene as an adult. Kate Siegel, I've already gushed over Miss Gugino. Kate
Christ.
Siegel, Christ
get it.
almighty.
Kate Siegel could get it.
Listen, if I didn't like Mike Flanagan's work, I'd be a fan because I'd need to study it to see what brought Kate on board. Okay, how does a bald man get Kate Siegel right?
So they are clearly soulmates. She was just on
100.
On a podcast. The guy that did that was in the fucking devil talk show movie. Yes,
right?
Yes,
Isn't it?
Him.
Yes, David
he's got this
Dastmalchian.
great podcast where he like sits with someone in a coffin. It's called
They
like
lay
grave
in coffins.
It's called like grave
What?
discussions or grave conversations or something. So
I
we had
love
Kate Siegel on the other day, and he was like, "How do you want to be buried when you die?" And she said, "I would like to be put inside my husband." She was like,
Even if
"I
he's
don't."
still living,
Yes,
Slice
it
him
was
open,
presented like a
shove me in there.
tauntaun situation if he's still living, and that if he is deceased, she would like to be put inside of whatever he is currently.
she said, on or inside my husband,
my
Mike
husband.
Flanagan. Yeah.
That's so funny. It was, and I
That's
was
wild.
like, well, those souls match. Those souls match hard.
Genuinely. She's so great here though. And first of all, we have this great scene. She seduces this woman, she brings her home, and then she slides on this fucking glove. I'm just sort of a germaphobe. And that's okay. None taken.
Yeah. That's a really fun performance from what is her name? Trish.
Yeah, Trish.
She's so good.
She's very good.
So good there.
Also, like,
cool tats on Trish.
fucking love Theo. Like, what a character. What an interesting character. And Theo is in the book. Some of these characters are obviously not in the book. But Theo is a character in the book, and she is very sapphically coded in the book, and I'm really glad that they went with all of that because it's delightful. And hot, frankly. She's hot.
She's very hot. I mean, she'd be hot in a brown cardboard box with her hair and, shitty curlers, but that is not the case here. Okay, who is the actor that's playing Dad in the modern day?
That is, what's his name?
Can't remember his name.
Hang on.
He was on Leverage. If you ever saw the show.
Yeah, that's where I recognize him from. I mean, he's in a bunch of stuff. I think he was from like 30 something or LA Law or something back in the day.
Yeah,
maybe too.
He's incredible in this show.
I had forgotten that they did this though. Okay, no spoilers for this in case you haven't watched the show or haven't listened to our coverage previously, but there's at least a few roles in Midnight Mass where we see
Timothy
Hutton. Thank you. In Midnight Mass, there are at least a few roles where we see a character, an actor, portray the same character at different ages in their life. And they just use the same actor. They age him up, they age him down, however they need to for that particular role. Now, I will say, if you go back and listen to our coverage, the first time that it happens, I say then, why didn't they recast these roles? I like it better that way. I was so thrown off when Timothy shows up here. I was like, who is this now? Who is this coming to collect these people?
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be an aged up version of Elliot.
That's super fair because it is a little, as good as he is, it is a little disorienting.
And
because
he is
they don't necessarily look alike.
They really don't. It's not a great, he's a good actor. It's
Which
not
is
really
crazy
a great
because
fit.
the casting of the kids to the adults is fantastic.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
They all
so well
look
done.
identical, which is weird.
Yeah. Very weird. Very weird. Especially Shirley.
I do
Shirley
wonder
is an amazing connection.
if maybe they threw him in there for just even though none of us could remember his fucking name, but if they threw him in for some name cred, like he
was at the time probably one of the bigger named actors on this project.
Yeah.
Almost all of them have gone on to bigger things since then. But
the gal that played Nell, this was her first big project she had ever done, I'm pretty
Victoria
Pedretti. Yeah.
She's incredible.
Nell breaks my soul.
Okay, this moment, she's in, this is what I said. Nell says she's at home in bed. She is not.
She is not at home.
She is at a home.
He said, that's what he says too. He's like, she's at the house. The house.
The house. Yeah.
Okay. Nell's, and again, I mean, this is like one of the episodes that really features her in some ways, even though it's such an ensemble and they're doing, what a great job Mike does to juggle all these things. He's building the world. He's introducing the whole cast of characters. And yet Nell gets an arc. Nell gets a through line for us in a way that has an emotional resonance when it all punches home. But right here, she's sitting in that car. She's sitting outside and she's saying, yeah, Daddy, I'm at home in bed. And you're just like, no, she's not. You're yelling at the TV.
Not.
You're like, go get her. She's not at home.
She's at that horrible house. Please go get her.
It breaks my heart this is going to happen a lot.
We're all going to cry. It's fine. We're all going to cry. Joel cries all the time. It's fine.
I do. I cry pretty regular.
The Nell thing, it's just that seeing her talking on the phone, it's like her last resort. It's her last cry out for anything, and he knows it, and he can't do anything about it.
Well, he does help. He does exactly what he should do.
Yeah,
you know, like go to your brother, go to your brother's house. I'm on my way. I'll be there as quick as I can, and there's still nothing to be done about it. It's fucking awful.
He immediately is jumping on a plane. He's immediately heading. It's
rallying the troops. Yeah, it is heartbreaking. It's awful. It's awful, awful, awful.
And her in that scene it's jaw-dropping how good it is, but it's also just like, that's rough. That's a rough scene to watch. That is the last person she's ever going to speak to, you know, and it's rough. It's so hard to watch. And you know, the next time we see her, she's dancing in the in that empty house, and we don't even know what that means yet, you know? And that's a scene again that gets reframed later in a much different way, and it's Nell's story is hard.
That to me, the mystery box of this whole thing. I love that so we've set up the world, and we don't even really know that things have gone awry, except that we've been introduced to all these family members individually so far in the modern day. Why are they all apart? Why is everybody's a little blasé in one way or another so far, right? Nobody's doing great, so to speak. And that's because here, finally, we get our opening line of the story itself, where he shows us. One night, this is my note, one night long ago, it all went very badly for the Cranes. Like that's it. One night, a long time ago, it all went very badly for the Cranes, and no one has recovered. No one has recovered.
No one.
Why? Mm-hmm. How? When did it all go badly? Was there any warning? Could it have been averted?
Point,
we don't know yet.
We're still like, what was it? What happened?
Yeah, what even happened?
That's one of the challenging things about like doing this rewatch and doing like for this show in particular, just because I've watched it so many fucking times, is like trying to put myself in the position of remembering what it was like to watch this first episode for the first time and how it made me feel and how I binge watched this entire series in almost one night. I mean, we watched almost all of it in one night, and we only went to bed. We only stopped because I literally had to go to bed. Otherwise, I would have watched all of it in one night. I mean, it just catches you and intrigues you so much. These characters are so interesting from Jump Street. You know, their relationships are interesting. What you get to see, the phone calls Nellie tries to make to Steve and to Cheryl, and then Shirley and Theo together, and you get kind of just like a little peek into what these dynamics are between all of them. And I mean, and then you have the next is it 6 episodes or 8?
It's at least 8. I think it's longer than. I think it's 10. I think it's like 9 or 10 episodes.
But like we have like the rest of that to kind of fill in all these gaps about, you know, and you know, and Nell's death is the impetus for this entire thing moving forward, and for everybody to have this reckoning with the situation, you know.
Love though the glimpses that we get of how we're going to put this together. Judah and I just watched recently the second Knives Out movie, Glass Onion, and he and I were talking about like fair play mysteries and things like that, and like, hey, there are rules to the way that you structure something. I'm not saying that this is exactly fair play mystery, but this scene with Dad running through the house and trying to collect the kids, and we get glimpses of everything, but it's like, okay, he's got a hand injury. Where did the hand injury come from? But we get these little glimpses of what's happening to Dad, and we get Mom behind him, or it looks like Mom anyway. What is she doing back there? And then he even says, "That's not your mom."
Yeah.
I love this all so much. I love this whole scene with the dad coming through the house and collecting, and then finally they're in the car as they go away, and the kids are like, we get little snippets of conversation with them. Did you see? She was at the window. No, it wasn't her. All of this shit is amazing.
Because he says the little girl's name. What is her name, Slade? The little girl that Luke is friends with?
Abigail.
Yeah, he says, I saw Abigail in the window. We're like, who the fuck is Abigail? We haven't even met an Abigail yet, you know?
Right?
Yeah. And they just, as you're going on, even more is getting added into the mystery. You're right. Like, the dad's hand is injured. How the fuck did that happen? What's going on since the last time we saw these people?
Okay, my next note is I just couldn't help myself because I had literally just been having a conversation about the Matchbox 20 song. I said, it's 3:03 and we must be choking. Everybody wakes up at 3:03 in a very uncomfortable position.
And I don't know if you've watched this with headphones in, but when Theo wakes up, you can hear the thump of her dropping. You hear that sound. I've noticed it before, but it was just particularly loud today for me when I was watching it again. And I was like, oh Christ, you hear the thunk. Like, that's just such an extra added layer to the sound design. It's crazy.
Okay, Steve really breaks this poor woman's heart. No supernatural, no preternatural. It's a leak and a missing stop sign, lady. You're just a light sleeper now that your husband's gone.
It's so interesting.
Too bad, so sad.
Debunking he does, and he does it with such care too. It's like reassuring and but then he's like, I'm still gonna tell your story. I'm gonna make it all flashy.
I think it's because, and this is something I really noted this time. I think it's because he knows the truth of this, which is that we want to believe these things.
It's a wish. A ghost is a wish.
And that's something that I put down as like a question for all of us, is like, do we really believe these things, or do we want to believe ghost stories are real? Because the alternative is even more terrifying, right? Yeah. The alternative is that nothing is there and that we're gone and no part of you is left. And there's something, as scary as they can be, there's something very, very welcoming about the idea that maybe there is an opportunity to reconnect with loved ones across the veil, so to speak. You know, it's heartbreaking, but when he's talking to her, he's doing it in a way that is incredibly kind. I mean, he treats her with probably more kindness than he does his own adult siblings.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things, and I think that's part of it. I think he, over time, has developed this sense. Now, he's wrong, obviously, in the context of this story. Like, ghosts are very, very real, and there's something out there that's trying to hurt them. But his speech about it is very lovely in its own way. It's, you know, it's a wish. It can be a lot of things. A ghost can be a lot of things.
Okay, so I stayed last week, Slade, in a carriage house behind the Jacques Saint-Germain house in New Orleans, on the corner of Royal and Dumaine, I think. No, Royal and Ursuline. It's a very famous house. It's supposedly a haunted house. The most famous New Orleans vampire supposedly lived there at one point. However, I got to go in and like see the inside and go up on the balcony and everything. Probably the best balcony in the French Quarter. Honestly, it's an amazing balcony. It's really deep and nice and cool too. Gets a great breeze off the river and everything. However, it's just a house on the inside. It's just a very, very fancy house.
Right.
And like, I did think to myself, I wouldn't even. Couldn't show any of those photos or video because it is literally a guy's house that I was in, and so I couldn't share it with my group. But I did think they wouldn't want me to anyway because it would. It's a nice house. It's very lovely.
But what you picture inside's way creepier than what's really there.
Yes. Whatever it is that is in your head is better than the story that I could actually tell you with the truth here. And it's because we all want to believe the thing, right? And the way that you put it, Slade, is so perfect. It's like the idea that one that still rings very near and dear to me. My father passed away about 4 years ago from Alzheimer's, dementia. And there are so many things that were left unsaid from between the two of us because of his dementia. So many things that were unresolved in my heart, at least. And the idea that you could, with some finality, with some assurance, with some confidence or proof, show me that I'm never going to get to have that conversation with him. Yeah, that would be much more depressing, honestly, than scary ghosts. So like, I'll take a little bit of poltergeist for real, actually. Like, let's have I
think we would all take the fear element of it for the reality of getting to have those moments and having someone who you love not being all the way gone, you know?
Fear is better than emptiness, you know? Fear's a better feeling than to feel empty.
That becomes a big thing in this show. You know, that's at least you can feel something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Fear is better than emptiness is our title, by the way. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I love it when she does it so often, Slade. I didn't know I was getting quite such a writer with her when I first signed her up.
I'm a passive writer.
Lee, who is, of course, the amazing actress that plays
Samantha
Sloan. The biggest.
Sloyan.
There you go. I always just want to make it straight. It's not. There's an accente on the wrong.
I've actually never heard it spoken.
I've never heard it spoken either.
There you go.
It might be Sloan. It might be just a weird spelling.
This is us trying to pronounce the twins' names from Queen of the Damned.
Yeah.
Slade. We
pronounce them different every time.
The first time we neither one of us would say it first. We were like, "What do you think about the twins, Ashley?" Yeah. How would you say that
name out loud if you were saying it out loud in front of people for the first time?
She's so amazing in everything that she's in, but we only get her in two little glimpses. Well, we get her once physically and then once on the phone. But the relationship between Lee and Steve in the first scene between them, and then the relationship that we get a glimpse of in the modern day, I love how much they're able to tell us there with like 4 lines of dialogue, right?
Yeah, she's
such
cold.
a cheerleader for him in the first scene, and then she's so
cold.
In the second,
But there's even in that moment, you feel like, oh, Steve fucked up. Mm-hmm. Like it's not that you feel like Lee did anything wrong. You're
no,
like,
not at all.
100%. She's like, because she says, you know what you'd have to say, right?
Yeah. Would it be worth it, or is it even worth it? She is such an incredible performer that it's kind of disorienting to see her do this when you've seen her as, you know, I can't remember her name.
In Midnight Mass.
A horrendous asshole in Midnight Mass. Dude, there being real warmth to her in this show. Like, you kind of like, she's like coming home, you know, for Steve and for the viewer as well, because she's kind of like this like baseline for everything. Everyone else is up and down and chaotic, and she's kind of like this warm figure throughout the show, and especially, you know, in those scenes that are in the past, you know, not so distant past versus modern time when she's a little bit more cold towards him. But even in those moments, you're just like, there's something here that it's just like, I feel her, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's something about like her being an outsider looking into this, an outsider, air quotes, not, it's not your family, like Cheryl said to her, and
It's an asshole thing to say.
Oh, totally
worst.
asshole thing to say. Total asshole thing to say. I definitely would say that. I could feel that coming out of my fucking mouth.
You mentioned it already when we get Carla coming back in finally to this episode as the mom. She comes in with the great line. It's one of the best lines in all of Shakespeare, I think. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than in your philosophy. But mirrors and shows us, I think, a little bit of where Stephen ends up, or why Stephen ends up where he does, right? This is very much his mom's skepticism, but an artful, kind skepticism, right?
Yeah.
She's not rude to Miss, what's her name? She's not rude
Dudley.
to the help here. Yeah, Dudley, Mrs. Dudley. She's just
she's
clear.
She's clear. She's assertive.
She's assertive.
And it does show you, like, they're trying to raise their children with, an open mind, but also a healthy dose of skepticism.
That's an interesting scene to me too, because Mrs. Dudley kind of comes off as aggressive is not the right word, but almost menacing in a way in that scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
and we've already been framed that they're weirdos, right?
Yeah.
One of the kids says Dudley and that woman are weirdos. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's just such an interesting moment. That your opinion of her changes obviously over the course of the show. And in that first moment when you meet her, it is kind of this menacing figure. You don't get the same feeling from Mr. Dudley. Mr. Dudley, you think is like a nice old man. But Mrs. Dudley comes across as very cold and very, like I said, almost menacing. Not like, quite.
It's like, don't forget about the consequences. Like she kind of has that vibe. Like, remember, children, the consequences. Remember, it's got that religious feel to it too. That like kind of oppressive religious vibe.
Very much.
Okay, it's not the same thing, but it reminds me a lot of how the fandom got so mad at Walter White's wife, Skylar.
Yes.
Right? They'd be like, what is that bitch doing? And you're like, trying to make sure that he doesn't drive their family off a fucking cliff in every way possible.
God.
Hello? Did you watch The Sopranos and also hate Carmela? Like, what's your fucking problem, man?
They hate women, Joel. That's the problem. Like, they hate women.
Well, in that case specifically, I think you're almost set up in season 1, especially to feel that way, so that when the turn is shown and we're like, oh no, we're supposed to root against him. You're supposed to be like, oh, I did it too. Oh, I did a misogyny, actually.
I did a misogyny.
But that's we don't know it yet, like you say, but that's sort of what we're doing here with Mrs. Dudley as well. It's like, oh God, which by the way, okay, we talked about connections from Flan-Again to the Anne Rice world. Delaney Hales is going to be on the new version of Carrie. What's her name here in this show? Steve's wife, Lee, is Carrie's mom in that show, by the way. But here, Annabeth Gish is playing Mrs. Dudley. She is Deidre Mayfair in the Mayfair show. Yeah.
Annabeth Gish.
I love her.
She's so great. Okay. Luke's girl in the woods. We first hear about, we get the mention of her earlier in the scene where they're escaping, but here we hear about the girl in the woods. And yet, I just want to point out, and because Luke's being real normal about it, but he's showing these horrible pictures of this girl and writing many, many "No Girls Allowed" signs to put on his treehouse. I'm like, did you notice anything?
Are these related?
Are we connecting any dots? Yeah. If I had seen that girl, I would also have put "No Girls Allowed" signs on my treehouse.
I think if, Joel,
I also love that Theo's the one who tears it down.
Yeah, Theo's
that just makes the most sense in the world.
Yeah, fuck that. No girls allowed.
Theo can't tear this one down.
Oh, that little
not
boy.
allowed.
is so cute. It's painful.
That little boy is it's unfairly cute.
He hurts my heart when he and Steve say "cool kids."
Yes,
it's so cute,
so precious. And Brett and I say that to each other all the time.
Cool kids.
We're like,
yeah,
cool kids.
that's the cutest
Nell
kid
was
maybe ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the one that I might put in the running with him, though, and I genuinely, these are like neck and neck, is the kid from Jerry Maguire. Did you know the human head weighs 7 pounds?
Jonathan Lipnicki. This kid's got similar vibes. He's got Lipnicki
Very
vibes.
similar vibes.
Yeah.
Glasses too big for him, too.
Just play all day. He's so cute. Oh.
Okay, y'all. Nell was at, as you said it earlier, Slade, the house. Nell was at the house. She's dead. Steve has seen a ghost. That is, in fact, the name of this episode. Steven sees a ghost.
Yes.
That
the moment when you realize it.
Oh,
yeah.
When he realizes it.
When he realizes it, because it's confusing to the viewer.
She's there. She's physically there. He's seeing her, this person who says he's never seen anything supernatural. And you don't get the vibe that she's dead. He talks to her. He's like, man, you were in here when Luke was in here stealing my shit. You just let him steal my shit. You know, he's not even letting her get a word in edgewise anyway.
And Dad did tell her to go to your brother's house.
Yeah.
Like that's where she was supposed to go.
And he told Lee, hey, tell her to come to my place. You know, I didn't get a chance to explain. Because
we don't 100% understand the timeline or the location or everything yet. We know Steve's in California. I don't think we necessarily know where the house is at this point.
We don't know where Hill House is.
I don't think so.
We don't.
And so all this stuff happens. Like, it's totally believable that she turned around in that driveway and drove straight to Steve's, or drove to Lee's and got Steve's address from there. It's totally believable that would happen. And then when that reveal happens, it's absolutely gutting.
And I will say, like, she isn't scary until
not in the way you expect
once
it.
He realizes and her face changes and she's trying to scream. That's when I knew Mike Flanagan had me by the balls. And I was like, this is going to scare the shit out of me at times. I can see it coming, But
what's so crazy about that? I mean, it is scary. Yes, it's scary when she switches, but at the same time, it's just more sad and affecting than it is scary. That's I think the beauty of this whole series is that it walks that very fine line. So Slade, we sort of like teased this but didn't finish it earlier. I don't like scary things. And yet, here I am hosting this Anne Rice podcast, and now we're doing Mike Flanagan too. What I enjoy is the metaphor. I love it when we tell the terrible thing about humanity through the thing that removes it from humanity, right? When we tell the story of the other through the story of the monster. That's why I love Anne Rice's work so much, is because it's stories about the monsters, and therefore it's just stories about the other. This is a different horror, but it is that same level. It's thinky horror is what we call it, and this is such a good version of it.
Yeah,
and
so this
first episode just nails it.
Ostensibly a haunted house story, right? But that's not what this story is about. It's about these people, this family dealing with it and overcoming. It's kind of a cliche thing to say, but this is a story about grief. This is a story about,
coping with loss.
One of my favorite stories to tell, and I think the most compelling stories to me personally, are like, how do you get to the other side of the bad things that happen to you, right? How do you do that? And sometimes the most interesting answer and the saddest answer is that you don't, or that it takes way longer than it should, or various other things,
that some of you make it and some of you don't.
Yeah. And that's even worse sometimes, sometimes we make it to the other side and we leave someone else on the other side of that door, and maybe they never make it over there, and those are the most interesting stories to me. Always have been. And this, I think, is why I always come back to this, because I think it's my favorite version of that. because there's so many answers to that question within this one story.
Yeah.
You know, we know Nell doesn't get to the other side. It did in the first episode. We know that. But what does that mean? And what does that look like now? And now there's a new thing for everyone else to get to the other side of.
To get to the other side of, yeah. She just
On
added
top
a
of all
whole
the
new
other
pile of
shit.
shit to their pile of shit they have to get over.
I mean, there's an aspect of this episode that sets it up, especially if you haven't read the book, that you could say to yourself, oh, this is like a And Then There Were None, Agatha Christie sort of horror tale where we're just going to pick this family off one by one. That isn't the story that they're telling in the end. And there is a catharsis waiting for us on the other side of this journey. But again, that's, if you've watched any of Mike's other stuff, you know that that's pretty standard for the way that he wants. That's what I love so much about his work, is that he does not stay in the darkness, right? At Anne Rice's Celebration of Life, Ashley, Christopher told the story about the woman who had lost a child talking to Anne, and Anne telling her, hey, you don't actually come out of the darkness. You just bring the light with you into the darkness, it turns out in the end. Or maybe you never leave the darkness behind. You bring the darkness with you into the light, I think is the way that she phrased it. But the point is that, like, you never actually leave it behind. That's the sad and real truth. You know, you lose a child, you lose a father or a mother early in life, or just a friend, or a relationship, whatever. These heartbreaks, they just calcify and scar and become part of who we are on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a line in, if you haven't watched the series, The 4 Seasons, highly recommend for some light entertainment if you need it. It's got Tina Fey in it and Coleman Domingo, but there's a line in it that's so good. It was, your grief doesn't get smaller, you get bigger. And I was like, that is really, really true. Like, that's a very simple way of stating that, but a really true piece of grief, because it doesn't go away, and you just learn to live with it. You learn to live around it, or you learn to live with it. And some days you have to live around it, and some days you have to live with it, and some days you can live past it. You know, it just depends on the fucking day.
Oof. All right. That is episode 1. Stephen Sees a Ghost. We are going to be talking about this week to week and every episode all the way through to the end of The Haunting of Hill House.
I'm so excited,
from
y'all.
Mike Flanagan and Netflix. I'm very excited to be a part of this as well. Slade, thank you so much for joining us for
thank
this
you
little
so
excursion.
much for having me. Like I said, this is probably my favorite season of television. I've listened to the other Flan-Again shows that you guys have done, and I just love it. And he's one of my favorite writers, and so just to get to be a part of it is wonderful. And of course, I love both of you, so it's great to be here.
Well, we're so excited that you are. All right, stay tuned, folks. If you are a patron, you're going to get our afterlife discussion. Ashley and I are going to be talking about The Adventures of Priscilla,
The Adventures of
Queen of the
Priscilla,
Desert.
Queen of the Desert.
That's right. And then I'm afraid that's all the drag queen movies we've watched them all now. We don't have any.
We've watched every drag queen movie you can watch.
I do promise there's a few more we could get to eventually.
100%.
However,
we haven't done Rocky Horror yet.
That's right. I was just thinking, I mean, Birdcage isn't exactly that, but we haven't done Birdcage yet.
We have to do the Birdcage. It's one of my favorites.
And realistically, we're not going to do Birdcage and not take a look at La Cage aux Folles. I mean, we're fucking francophiles. So
we'll just
anyway,
set ourselves
that's
up.
all in the future someday, folks. What we're going to do next week for Articulate Coven Afterlife is Widow's Bay, episode 1 from Apple TV. They've already been renewed for season 2. Unlike all of our shows, they're making it year to year, apparently. It's like they're already shooting it. I know. I can't even remember what show it was. Severance. They announced the other day that Severance season 4 has begun filming. And I was like, has begun filming? Season 3 was like 2. And then I remembered what show we talk about mostly, Ashley.
And you were like, that's how we do too.
Yeah. Anyway, thank God Mike Flanagan's out. He's got 6 projects this year, y'all.
That man is busy. We could do this podcast forever.
We're fine. All right. We'll be back next week. Until then, we have been your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Slade.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Thank you for watching Flan-Again, a Mike Flanagan rewatch from the Articulate Coven. If you want our videos and audio early and ad-free, visit articulatecoven.com/join and join the Coven.